Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. We get to have a bit of chit chat for our full moon and Palm Sunday. Full moon yesterday ish, still some energy about. Palm Sunday today, and then next week we get Easter. For those who don't like that we celebrate, because mystics, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people who embrace differences aren't welcome by all, but also there are those who name their children Dharma, they live karma, and then they keep on harassing people who do celebrate. So, really, when you meet past self people, the teenagers, they just have a group. So, when groups are trending, and we know where charges are, and as a person who loves to learn, when I met them in college, I just thought, what's up with this? Aren't you supposed to know that when you meet new people, you ask questions? I mean, what's up with the sensitivity? So I am an emotionally, mentally, physically mature person. It's more of, no sensitive ego, even though, of course, I'm sensitive, but I'm also not. But I'm also not a liar. And I'm also somebody who uses a lot of words and then says, oh, wait a minute, they don't know. Do you know? Stephen Porges, and some people don't believe in sciences. I do. He's in the research lab, thank goodness, and hopefully as he continues to do research on the polyvagal theory at one point or another, we'll know if it's proven or not. In the meantime, I do know that those who worry about mental warfare and manipulation are the same ones who don't have the capacity to be their self-agent, because if you did, then you would know, like me, that, hey, Sam Harris, what's up? Anything that comes out of my mouth, yep, falsifiable for sure. Anything cherishable, of course. My teenage boyfriend, as he's arguing with me, telling me that I only believe in God because I'm afraid of dying. I'm 16 and I'm like, no, I'm doing catechism. And no, I'm not welcome by all, because limited consciousness people have half a brain working. Their cognitive dissonance is all over it. I don't want to spend time with stupid people. That's how I felt as a teenager. That's how I still feel as a grown up, which is why I'm making sure anybody who went, oh, poor child. Sure, poor child where? I mean, they're all poor children, really. Anybody who doesn't learn to be their own self-agent. Like with Terrio, oh, he's awesome. He has conditions because he's a functional adult. I have no conditions because I'm not God. And that's the one thing, is anyone in flesh comes near me, I'm like, sure, you're in flesh. My mother taught me what to do with those who speak down to others. They're bad-mannered. They actively have low self-esteem. And in fact, this is the one thing that if you have a whole 3-year-old heart in front of you and she's not afraid of you, it's because you have bad manners. And I'm going to go tell my mommy, but I won't do that. But that's the stand of the ventral-vagal stance of this 3-year-old. In fact, it's, you can't spank me. I share my story so you can understand I have no shame, not even a little bit. And anybody who looks at me and says, so you have vanity and pride. Well, I mean, not really. I could be considered vain by anybody who doesn't know me, but I'm okay with people who are cowards not actually having the capacity to say, wait a minute, do I know them? No, I don't know them at all. So I don't really care for petty talk. That's why when people gossip, I mean, really, you just show me who you are. But then again, I might be considered a gossiper because I talk about people too. That's the one thing of the enlightenment soul age group, is why my friend, when he called me a hypocrite, I said, no, I'm not. I walk a walk and talk a talk like Maria. No, not that, Maria. You say this and that, and yeah, you know what, you're right. Today I can tell you yes, because the consilience approach is for the smart brain, people who use two sides. We don't get rigid, we don't get chaotic, because nobody can impose their beliefs upon us. Again, grounded in reality means, oh, look, I'm having a conversation about politics, religion, whatever it is, but let me let you know that not all grown-ups know how to do this. So when I meet grown-ups who don't know what healthy boundaries are at all, you're trauma dumping on me. No, I haven't had that happen to me at all. I've had other shit happen, and I won't tell it because it's really, really actually. So here's the deal. When you have what is called self-respect and self-acceptance, and you actively have no self-doubt whatsoever, and you do have this idea of what people, grown-ups, are supposed to be. So I'm still a child, as you can tell, but I'm a grown-up too. Just that I'm a functional child adult. So when I thought of grown-ups, I thought they would all be mentally, emotionally, physically mature. Today, Stephen Porges helps me know that I can blab my mouth all I want, which is true. Either you're going to be welcoming of your own anchoring in of ventral energy, which is why God don't need to protect me from energy vampires, dark wars, or any of that other stuff that a bunch of spiritual bypassers have a bunch of stories for. And the ones who keep calling anybody devil, demon, evil because we don't do things the way they do, well, I have news for you. There's a beautiful voice out there, and she's going to be translating stuff in ways that are amazing. I only had a sneak peek, and I'm like, wow, that's fascinating, and I won't remember it all, but I know that that translator is going to support people who don't know. Did you know that the crystals were in the Bible or something like that? Again, don't take my word for it because I haven't read it, but I have heard it through the grapevine, and that person did read it. So again, I'm sure we could debate it. When I hear controversy, I think, where's controversy? What? I'm a political science major, so I already know about the journalists that decided to change shit up, and what bleeds leads, and nobody really wants the what bleeds leads if they're smart brains. The only ones who want drama, sensational, all that is the same human being who doesn't anchor in their ventral energy. They don't want aliveness because deep emotions are very, very scary, which is why they think that it's dangerous to have no emotions. That it's not inherently true that when you are non-reactive, you have health and enlightenment. Little do they know. Okay, so with that being said, I know when people who are quantitative and qualitative are adding their food for thought, which is what I do, and then I know where I want to go if I ever wanted actual data in a way of panel of experts. It's called a lot of things like peer reviews, and more than just that, because I'm not a stupid one. I also don't discount education at all, and anybody who says it's stupid, again, I raise my hands because I don't want to waste my time and let the 3-year-old talk. That way they get it out of their system. So when I go to social media, the whole likes and dislikes, the only people who actively look to that in a way of give me value, yes, Peter Pan, Lost Boys, Pinocchio, have fun copying each other. The ones who are looking for input on what to provide to you don't actually have ideas. No, I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm pretty sure if you are a straight shooter and you actually acknowledge what you're doing, you don't have questions. I have no questions of what I'm doing. Be yourself. That's what it's called. The inner growth mindset. And when people say, yeah, I'm like, wow, that's not for me. Patrick Tiahan, where are you? They don't want to come learn to love themselves first. They're just going to say, why are you still talking about trauma? Okay, so the point is here, it's for restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people. It means you want to do resiliency. You don't say, what does resiliency mean? That I have to suffer? No, not if you're using your prefrontal cortex. Welcome aboard, restorative, embodied, inclined at the very bare minimum, people, because that's exactly what Buddha, Jesus, lovely Sadhguru, and any of those integrated brain human beings who are actively in a physiological state of compassion. I can break it down technically so that people can stop thinking of it as being, but it will be, ooh, because your insula lights up, then your amygdala, because I'm alerted to my herd, and then my temporal junction, because my body and brain are smart enough to relate in the very second to whatever's going on with my past experiences, so I don't have to learn to walk again, but I use my prefrontal, and it's all online because Maria has no insecurities. So I'm not using my frontal lobes flop down in my amygdala in the dark sides of neuroplasticity. This is what happens when you learn about how the embodied brain works. And it's beautiful to have interoception, and you don't get on screen when you are in a clinically dissociated state, which I don't get into even with my panic attacks, but I wouldn't be on screen anyways because I'm going to be working to assess within those 15-20 minutes, as Nutshell Lady provided me with input on that. Okay, so when you see people complaining to people who give you advice on how you can work with stuff, I think, why no therapy? Because if you can contain it, the sensations, the images, the affects, the behaviors, and the meanings, that's great. Thanks, Peter Levine. And if you can contain it and stay online in your prefrontal, now we got a shot. Now, if you can also be honest with yourself and therefore notice, do I actually try to avoid depth of feeling? Now we have an equation, because that's where the first 3 years of life of anyone are implicit. Okay, so long story short, love is in the air, and it's not just a frequency, it is actively the state of being of securely attached and untraumatized people. That's who use inner growth mindset, personal development, self-help, spiritual growth. Until that moment where you are using an amygdala, we got spiritual bypassers. So everybody has a different journey. We have different relationships, societal, soul, age groups. I'm in the enlightenment one, and therefore I'm only speaking to be no, I want to resonate with all, but I know that not all will resonate, because you might not move into the enlightenment soul age group. You might stay with the relationship societal, and every soul age group has a purpose. Also, we all have choice points, so nobody has to be fixed in stone. Actually, that's the beauty of being presented with the people of your oversoul. And so as an empowered feminine, I know when I have an empowered masculine, like I know when I have simply put a masculine. And yes, the eyes are of a person who might be man, woman, we don't know, but Cusco, have fun, because that left mode by itself ain't going to do much, but it will following the leader, and I will know who you are, because I'll see as you praise people and put them on pedestals and books. I don't put anything or anyone on pedestals. There's only one God, and I use all the words in the book, and that's what people don't like. Then again, it's dark matter, dark energy. You know what's beautiful about those of us who are pure consciousness because we embody this differentiated self, integrated brain, default mode network downregulated, not scanning Maria or you to say, oh, are they going to like me or not? No, I'm actually sharing food for thought, it's called. So self-agents, that's what we do. We don't feel like, oh my God, they're imposing their beliefs on me. How dare they? That doesn't happen. Oh, emotions are stronger than thoughts. Your 14-month-old rules you, which is why I already, again, said I don't really do this because I have a twin. We fought like cats and dogs. So for me, different just means different because my mother taught me that. And discernment is wise, good judgment. Why waste my breath? If I can understand that we will not agree, I will not use your time. You won't use my time. Equanimous, I'll stay common-centered. It's not personal when we are disagreeing. Don't be yourself. Excuse me. I unconsciously love who I am with my flaws and imperfections, and I have integrity because I will walk a walk and talk a talk. And yes, I have a discerning mind that loves to approach life with the consilience and analogical. My right mode goes on first and then my left. In fact, I have found that I have a way of chit-chatting, it is in a way that I'm sure if you're still here, you're going to match up with that because I don't do 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I do like, let's do a little roundabout. So with this lovely Palm Sunday, to me and to anyone who does have Jesus and God in their heart, independently from religious, spiritual background, that doesn't matter because see, any holiday with spirit in mind and love in mind, and anyone who came prior to us, the ones of us who are of spirituality, the umbrella, we know they all meant to bring us together. So the fact is, those who want to stay divisive, they can stay divisive. They're still working through stuff. It's none of our business because we're not God. Take us as we are. We are all sinners. We will repent. And those of us who repent truly don't identify with the mistakes and the flaws that we have or whatever shameful things. No, we actually make amends, do what we can. And all the attachment trauma educators, they help those people who have made mistakes that are so big they won't be forgiven by the human beings who will stand around with pitchforks and ignorance like the medieval times and actively not get informed on what a poor 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old will go through. But they will say, no, I don't believe in neuroscience. I saw demonic possession. Okay, neuroscience, neurotheologian. I mean, there's a buttload of them. I don't believe in machines or technology. They're lying to me. Wow, okay, you know what? I can't do much for you here. So when people want to use their stories, they will continue to be a teenager because teenager is the pause self person who needs to be all ready for battle, and that's what drives and motivates them. That's why they don't know love, they know fear. That's called safety behavior, and none of us are going to be around to watch Cusco as Cusco, because see, the fact is your distressed body is going to die out slowly, and I'm going to leave that one alone because again, it's none of my business. I'm not here for those who need to hear from Pat Ogden about trauma time or Bezel van der Kolk about how your sensations are what come up and the images, okay, and the affects. So again, people all have the soul. God made us children of God. Is why the inconsistency will be something you hear when you're securely attached and traumatized person who has a self-agent. Liar, liar, pants on fire. If I'm made in God's image, and if all my brothers and sisters are made, and they have the kingdom of God within them, the fact that you deny decentralizing of the self and neuroscience and neurotheology, the fact that you want to make Reiki out to be a bad energy, you really don't understand how your brain works. I do. It's called the in and out group. My 14-month-old wants to play only with the ones who read the same books I do. Have fun in the castle built of the books that are so rigid and from ancient time that you actively are blinded by words. Because really, I mean, the cognitive dissonance, I understand it, which is why, again, there's nothing for any one of us to do when somebody is so much caught up into that. It's psychological. It would devastate the human being's entire, this is something, so side note, humanly speaking, if you gather and understand how the brain works, you will also understand why some cannot conceive. They could, but in the proper manner, with the proper timing and all of this. So again, we're a collective, the 5D, who care to support those who want to expand. The collective of those who will stay in 3D, 4D, they are fear. They are, thank you, brothers and sisters, of fear for holding space for those who will not be able to capacitate that which we talk about because they live hardships that really, I mean, if I lived any of that, pretty sure I would not be able to speak what I speak here. I have a roof over my head. I got 2 hands, 2 feet. Look at me. And so I got sun. I'm just saying there's people who right now are in a lot of other states. But meantime, we're not comparing. I'm just saying different voices for different people, different choices. Free will to me is there because God. But Robert Sapolsky gives people who don't want free will the opportunity. No, determined. So really it's up to people to decide if they want to achieve their lovely mental, emotional, and physical maturity and mastery. So becoming a functional child adult, not everybody has to, but here at HP, that's what we get to do, because being yourself means you're a healthy, self-worth, empowering, enriching, and expanding person. So that's what we bring to our relationships. That's why you don't hang out with people. No, you hang out with all people. We accept all, reject none, just like Jesus did. We just won't build a home with someone who doesn't make it out there, because, I mean, you don't build with people who don't have the 2 hands and 2 feet to walk and talk and feel alive, because you're going to get tired. So again, the relationships, we get to be discerning, wise, good judgment, equanimous, just like God's love. And with our 5D Christ consciousness, state of consciousness, love frequency, join us here at HP. Living a restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating life. You do that by creating, one, that inner environment. So all your child parts are asleep. You don't need a Patrick Jahan. It's not a confusing, shaming letdown when you hear be yourself or love yourself. You're like, yep. If instead you feel it's hard and you need to perform, Patrick Tiahan and Terry Real are out there for people who need to reparent and learn how to breathe. I'm still learning how to breathe. I get just as fear is not going anywhere because it protects us. So yes, my physical safety is my number one motivator. My second, self-agency. That one's pretty straightforward. Bonding as well. So fear actively, yes, we create it with our mind, but it exists for a reason. And it's because I'm a conscious human being with my secondary human consciousness. I know that an asteroid could fucking hit me any moment, and God did tell me numerous times in my hypnotherapy session that I'm physically safe. I know why, but I I'm trying. I'm still doing that. I'm still working with the unknown into the unknown, and yeah. So basically, that's the part of the teenage boyfriend. Yes, and his you're afraid of death probably was because he knew that I was not happy of the idea of dying, but I was like, I believe it. No, I feel it in my bones. It's truth. And this is where he was doing his thing called effective realism, which is what other people do. So you don't have to believe in God. In fact, IHP is open to all. And I know that smart scientist people are open to God, and they're open to calling it consciousness. And we're open to calling it all things. And for sure, it's a discerning, equanimous, loving energy, because only ignorant human beings would think of punishment, questions, and wrath. And actually, when I see a grown-up a grown-up asking their children punishing questions like they're in prison, I think, wow, if only I were a big, 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 big giant. But I am not. There's a reason for that. I would not be anywhere with my brain had I been a big giant. So I'm not kidding. I'm an empowered feminine. That makes me a nurturer, which is why I need empowered masculine, because that's how it's balancing it out. Sciences actually humbles those of us of spirit. We already know it's a very easy equation. Kind, unkind. Oh, no Lucifer with the unkind cowards, please, because again, we don't see monsters when we see unkind. With attachment trauma education, I'm just reminded to be humbled because of those first 3 years of life and that 0-1 attached panicky crying, and that is the part. So I don't judge. No, I still judge human suffering, a waste of time. But I do know where people can go to hang out and live that experience of suffering if they want. It's in their temporal junction and with those who give them the capacity to not create resiliency in the restorative embodiment of their self. And when do presume themselves, okay, don't. There's a Zen master for you. Okay, so we here instead do mindfulness practices, mindset skills, and we expand those. And we also have that lovely inner growth mindset so that you can continue to anchor in ventral energy and you use the prefrontal cortex. So you don't have trauma charges that take over. Anyone who has that, I've seen them. They continue to justify their structural dissociation. But I was conscious. I knew what I was saying. I didn't mean it. You don't understand the word I just used, but that's okay because you don't want to. So your human suffering is going to continue because the unhealthy self-soothing is what you learned and you can't unlearn it. And no, you're not programmed. You actively have an embodied brain. So when people objectify their body and their brain and don't understand 0-1 attached panicky, 3 to 7 shame submissive, I'm not going to go through it all. But again, God is good. He gives everyone someone to go to. For those who want to expand, they know where to find inspiring human potential and more than just this. But the human element, see, spiritual element and spirituality element and science is without the human. Let me bring to you what it is like to live a functional child adult life. It's really awesome. There's no regrets here. You don't pick the wrong people. That doesn't, no. You consciously actually get the opportunity and honor to share life with people because it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Anybody, strangers in the night? Yeah, not really. I have not had any of those strangers in the night as serious relationships. Just saying, I don't know what you think. maybe you're dumb, like seriously dumb. And I'm sorry, but I might be dumb, but I'm not dumb on something. Like, how am I going to talk to you about interesting things if you can't? So, long story short, some of us know what we want. It's called SMART, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. I was a teenager, hey, teenage boyfriend. So, in the whole you don't believe because I told him nothing of you don't believe because shit happened to you. And here's where you can get offline if you don't like hearing about shit that happens to people. His friend killed himself and he thought evil because his girlfriend cheated on him, not to mention his cheating. That's irony. No, whatever it is he didn't learn anything. But we kept talking about things. So some people would say, well, you enabled it. Really, did I? Codependent human being, martyr, blamer, superior who thinks you know everything. And I learned how not to play the know-it-all. So again, I'm culpable of everything. I'm a human like anybody else. Is why take me as I am. I am a sinner, but I learn from things. I don't bring it forth again. My point was and is that I knew his anger and his upset with God. It was taught to me. Anytime some shit go down in your life, people turn their back on God. So as a kid growing up with my lovely Christian Catholic upbringing, I saw every teenager turn their back on God. And then I saw some do other things. And when I see extremists go in cloaks and I'm going to exempt myself from every single pleasure of life. Okay, you obviously don't know where addictions come from. They come from trauma. And you obviously don't know where maladaptive patterns of behavior, daydreaming and drugging, drinking, fucking again and again come from. All that promiscuity, stop blaming the monster and let's start learning blaming is bad manners. It's also called a shame cycle. So instead of blaming, let's understand accountability. Patrick Tiahan likes to keep parents accountable. I'm going to keep every human accountable. How does that sound? No, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just going to say every person, I believe, has 2 hands and 2 feet to potentially hear the good news. You can have heaven in the body. Yes, you can if you get out of, trauma time. So get into your higher self. People don't like me when they understand who I am because they want me to pat them on the back. I don't do patting. I'm not God. I'm a person and I'm imperfect and flawed, but I do know when you're being envious, jealous, spiteful because it's a low frequency and the teenagers showed me all about it. So do the adolescents. So when I meet cowards, I really don't notice it. And that's because securely attached, non-traumatized people have no trauma charges going on here. So I'm in my prefrontal, and when you will have stuff come up, if you want to anchor in ventral energy, then you're going to be wanting more of it. And that's because you'll know the difference. Those who hear the voices, they will know the difference. I know the difference. Excuse me, you're confusing science spirituality, says some random human being out of nowhere because they recognize my voice. No, because they couldn't hold themselves because they know the right thing and I'm saying the wrong thing. So you let the 3-year-olds speak. Those are all people who don't have the capacity to know what subjective experience is. They also don't have the capacity to use 2 sides of the brain and know that they don't know everything. I don't know everything and I would love to know everything, but I won't know everything, which is what's going to make life continuously fun. So when you love to live, laugh, learn, and expand and not cast stones, okay, I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh and learn and live and expand and not cast stones. Yes, so aliveness is really fun, and we create resilience every day with the mindset and sight and mindfulness practices. And the more join us, the better it is. But in the meantime, functional child adults, we are not manipulable or influenced by adaptive child part pause self, fear-based, rigid, non-bilaterally integrated people or mystics for that matter. The spiritual bypassers, really, they just follow a leader with their stories and they identify with them. I don't identify with those of our lovely ancestors. They are beautiful. They are beautiful to be able and bring to you in the human element way, which is where my voice comes into the mix. So we know that God, or the divine, or what words you use, dark matter, dark energy, discerning equanimous love. Because see, love is the oxytocin gene hormone. It can only be on in a body that has consistently the ventral vagal state engaged, because otherwise you're in protective mode. So I get to experience eustress, which doesn't mean it feels different. Yeah, no, it does feel different because my body is not getting stressed out. But to get integrated brain is a process, 3 to 4 weeks or something like that for a new little neural pathway to be developed. And then it takes myelin, and people who don't like to hear the details, they're not going to be here because the details are important. And anyone who wants a shortcut, there ain't no shortcuts. God will never give you more than what you can handle. And so when someone's wanting to speed up a process of the brain, miracles, sure, they exist, yes. But when you have an explanation for something, and again, I know about the whole manifesting. I'm just saying the brain, it actively has a way that it will heal itself. And anybody who looks for shortcuts is a sloppy person who doesn't understand how life works and that you don't build with shortcuts. And that your energy field, smart lady taught me, it expands. So it depends how big your body is. My body is 4'9". So every year of light body expansion. For those who are mystics, you don't lose people when you're expanding. Only the teenagers keep losing people because they want to be a group like the flat earthers. So yes, the ones who don't like us, they think that God has 144,000 chosen ones or the divine. And I keep thinking, wow, you really don't remember we're all made. But not everyone is going to choose love. This is the other illusion. And it's not even things that I want to say is an illusion. It's just 8 billion people. I mean, with a bunch of different families. So if one focuses on, you have your 2 hands and 2 feet. In Italian, my Neapolitan family has a saying, who does for themselves does for 3. It means mind your own business. Yes, I mind my own business. So the kingdom of God is within you. Thank you, Jesus. All restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating people will know of heaven in the body and what love feels like and why fear is still going to be a part of the equation as consciousness expanding as and in a human being and more. So human evolution, consciousness, and being yourself here at IHP with lovely Christ consciousness. And it's not about being liked or disliked, because really a comedian made a very good point when he was told by his mother, can't you make jokes that don't offend anyone? You're going to offend someone. And the intent does matter, but that's the part of where integrity is in here. And an adaptive child part, oh, they will always try to make you out into the bad guy. But then again, is there a reason for you not to know with self-acceptance that, yeah, somebody's going to say I'm crooked? Don't matter if I'm polyamory, monoamory, if I am mystic or not mystic. I can tell you, here's a story for you. I was in a line in a supermarket and I didn't see the sign. This is a real deal. 10 items. I got like 20, 40 items. The people behind me start yelling at the cashier lady because they're not telling me, excuse me, you're in the wrong line. They're upset. And I look back and I say, I didn't know. And you know what I know? None of those people believe me. Why? Because all of these people who have broken their faith in humanity don't go heal and decide to become their prefrontal cortex and to stop assuming that they know shit about all people. My facade friend, the one that all of you know about, I had a very, very straightforward conversation with him. And 3 years down the line, I'm finding out he didn't hear shit. Why? Because pause self people aren't in relationships because they're consciously making the choice, I like you for who you are, with those flaws that I might not like, really, again. So unless I'm in a physically death situation, I don't need to watch my back, because anything that comes up that's petty is going to be involving people who don't know how to get out of this defensive and protection and to have fun. Aliveness. It's fun for me, but I'm a whole 3-year-old heart. So join us here at IHP if you want to functional inner child adults here, self-empowered, enlightening stories, and yes, 5D relationships. We don't waste time. Masculines waste your time. They don't want to build. They're afraid to build. They continue being cowards. It's really, really annoying. That's why God says don't judge suffering, because it's fuck this shit. What the hell? You just wasted my time. And then it's okay, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. You didn't waste my time. I take it back. I'm not going to judge it. I made the conscious choice. That's accountability, awareness, and then regulating. And it's not, I'm creating resiliency because it's so many people. Remember, I shared with you all a short the other day. It was yesterday. When I was a teenager, definitely. And then a young adult, and at a certain point I said, that's not nice, Maria. It's not in line with God, and he created all. And so, and then when you become a mystic, you're like, okay, we're all part of the same energy. I see. Everybody plays a role, and that's why all my brothers and sisters, they're equally valuable. Those of us of spirit and God know it. Those of science, they don't have to. That's why they are technical. So they will keep putting the pieces, and that's why we make a combination. Is a good one. Yes, that's why they humble me, because they remind me about trauma charges and trauma memory. It is stored in muscles, bones, and tissues. Peter Levine. As it unravels, one little piece, da-da-da-da. And then, as my somatic lovely therapist taught me, a person who has dysregulated modulated embodiment won't be moving quickly into restorative. They have to want to. And if they don't, well, they will say, so we have to stay modulated, because they think they're sympathetic, because they don't want to heal the trauma charges. So when you see people who are actively not caring to heal themselves and they think that they're healers, you think, wow, you haven't even finished becoming a grown-up yet. But then again, I know what relationship and societal soul age group do. Flat earthers have fun being a group, and when you see groups and trending topics, you know who they are. They're all basically people, in my humble opinion, a journal to vent about why people are like that and why all the stupid things they do are so obvious to me, from not using their turn signals to believing they are the center of the universe, to sweating the small stuff, to ignoring the fact that we are all just trying to make our way in this insanely crowded world, but some of us are doing it a whole lot better than others. This is hilarious, which is why that comedian is right. So we all look the same. The difference is I will know if you speak these words with a ventral energy, which is awesome. And then I will know if instead you don't speak these words with ventral energy, which I'm sad for your body, but you will be a person who will do something like this. But this song is true. Fuck you. So people who justify the feeling of vindication, vindictiveness, revenge, it's a low one right here. And it's not something that expands you. It actually eats away at your soul because your body is in distress. It's not about the word, it's about what's happening in your body. So I'll know that that individual is suffering out of green envy, jealousy, whatever it is, and I feel bad. At the same time, I'm like, they actually aren't even feeling bad. They're actually thinking thoughts of people that are this is not a Lucifer thing. This is an actual poor child, needs therapy, doesn't want it. I've heard from many therapists how people will go to them and tell them about, I feel envious for my grandkid because they're getting love. And they remind them, well, you didn't get it, so your child part's being triggered. So working with child parts with a good therapist is how people get into then saying, I want personal development, self-help, Maria. The spiritual growth, yeah, you're only going to grow true spirituality when you can live a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. It means that you can say, I love all equally, not I forgave all of those assholes who did shit. Also remembering that we do have those lovely, again, love, fear frequencies, but it's not objectifying our relationships. Twin flame, soulmates. They've created words, karmics, and yes, I do know what a karmic is for in its exact, but I don't do let's not objectify, because if you are living a human life, then you will thank all of those who have been a part of your life if you're expanding. Again, you don't have to choose restorative embodiment, life, or love. And that's what I am here, and that's what I'm here to support. And as a mentor, content creator, and podcast host, self-empowered, enlightening, life is really fun. It is a process, and once we get our tears out, we'll talk a little bit more about those spiritual experiences and with our retreats and workshops for those of you who are mystics, because I know some of you will have the capacity to stay online in your prefrontal cortex, which is what makes the difference between what I call the 5D mystic and not. And it's not a special group, it's just being able to be your higher self, leading with an open heart, having the love of Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God within us. For some of us, we come with that. That's our foundation. And then we expand to Anima Mundi and more. Have a lovely, lovely day. Hopefully the full moon has brought you some beautiful things. And thanks for stopping by.